Today we're going to talk about the elements and principles of design. The elements are the parts of the layout, the parts of the design, and the principles are the rules or what you do with those parts. Today we're focusing on the elements. They are the components of a design. They are color, value, texture, shape, form, space, and line. And while there are some differences in this list, as you'll see when you look around the internet, books and such, they all come down to this. It's just a matter of semantics. Let's start with color. Color is a hue that's chosen to convey a feeling or emotion. And when you look at color, you can get emotion and moods from it. Each emotion brings to mind a color. Take a look at logos and how they cash in on that. Color can be expressed in subtle hues or bright colors. It can have one dominant color or colors that work really well together. Complementary colors. Bright colors or really bright colors. Value or tone is the degree of lightness or darkness of a color. So a red hue can look pink at a pale value. This change in value can produce some dramatic results. Lowering the opacity of a color both lightens the color and allows other colors to show through. So the effect is of a color fading and then revealing. The value of a color can show an illusion of light or dimension. Different values of the same hue can be used to create a monochromatic color scheme, which often creates a very unified layout. Texture is the surface quality of any shape or line. It creates an illusion of flat optical effect. So in this case, it looks like there's paint sitting on this book cover, but it's an illusion of texture. And this is not actually cut out, but it is suggested by the shadows. This is not printed on cardboard, but the suggestion of the cardboard texture is a design element. Here we have this sheer rice paper that creates an illusion and also an opacity change. And again, paint, even distressing, and paper texture. When one texture is applied to a design, it can create a very unifying look. The element of shape is any flat area bound by line, value, or color. Often these shapes are geometric, or they might be soft, curved, and rounded shapes, or a combination of the two. By grouping shapes, it creates pattern. Organic shapes are those that are found in nature. Experimenting with these shapes can lead with some unexpected results and create a cohesive look. Positive and negative shapes will also strongly impact a design. So these white shapes are creating the illusion of a vase in the center, or the vase is creating an illusion of the two portraits. In this Batman poster, just by flipping it, it creates an entirely different feeling of the Nemesis or the Joker's profile. The peacock in the center is actually not the shape of a peacock's body and head, it's just suggested by the shapes around it. And here we see the shape of a cat, suggested by the white space left between the letters. And with the A in Helvetica, there are two black shapes there. It works great for logos. You can see the arrow here in this FedEx logo suggested. Form is dimensionality. You can use shadow and value to create the suggestion of that. As these are all still two-dimensional, but they appear three-dimensional just because of the light and shading, which work like optical illusions, making objects jump off the page. Space, or white space, is the distance between objects in a layout. Space is not necessarily white, even though it is white space. White space refers to the area in your design that doesn't contain content. So in this case, most of this page doesn't create content, or it is the white space. It's also called negative space, and then the content is called positive space. So white space and negative space are synonymous. And this one uses space to suggest the underwater of this horse, of it swimming underwater. This IKEA ad shows a very small tree, and it emphasizes how small that tree is by surrounding it with a lot of white space. And the same trick is being used for this iPad mini, making it look smaller. This book cover with a wolf in a circle, creating the illusion of a boy's portrait. The last element we'll talk about is line. Lines can help direct the eye, create movement, and emphasize certain parts of a layout. So these lines on this book cover go into the corner and straight to the name of the book and the very famous name of the author. These lines direct you through the layout and to the articles and photos that are contained within it. These minimal thin lines actually help contain the information below the masthead of the magazine. These thin, colorful lines also create kind of a dance and activity, the different directions of them, and also the color and placement. These are much more geometric, but still have the same effect of sending you through the layout. And that's it. Those are the 7 elements of design.